This is Borneo, an island found within the Malay archipelago. It is located southeast of Southeast Asia, southwest of the Philippines, and north of Java and Bali. The island is one of the most biodiverse on Earth. It is full of dense forests and relatively few humans. So what is life like there? Who owns it? And what makes this place so special? Let's find out. As just mentioned, Borneo is an island found in Asia, in the Malay archipelago. Specifically, the island is rather large, in fact, the third largest on Earth if excluding continental land masses. Only Greenland and its not-so-far-away neighbor New Guinea are larger. The island covers an area of just under 750,000 square kilometers, ever so slightly smaller than New Guinea, which is some 37,000 square kilometers larger. As large as Borneo is, it is still some 2.9 times smaller than Greenland, the world's largest island. If Borneo were its own independent nation, it would rank as the 39th largest on Earth, larger than, say, Myanmar or Afghanistan, but ever so slightly smaller than Zambia. Now the island is split up and owned by 3 different countries: Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. Indonesia owns by far the most of the island at some 73%, 26% goes to Malaysia, and then the final 1% to Brunei. What's kind of crazy, though, is that the 1% that Brunei owns is all of Brunei. The country is exclusively found on the island of Borneo. What's even more crazy is that the percentage of the entire population of the island belonging to these countries is almost exactly the same as the percentages of the land that they own. Of the 23 million or so inhabitants, 2% are from Brunei, 72% Indonesian, and 26% Malaysian. So with 23 million or so people living on an island covering an area of just shy of 750,000 square kilometers, this gives the island a population density of around 30 people per square kilometer. This makes the island a very sparsely populated place, however, nowhere near as sparse as I first anticipated. This is about the same density as the Bahamas, Aria, or Angola, and some 10 times more densely populated than Australia. Across these 23 or so million people, there are a total of 170 languages and dialects spoken, making the island one of the most linguistically diverse places on the planet. If Borneo were its own country, it would rank around 11th in the world for the country with the most spoken languages. Not bad given the fact its population is relatively low. There are a few capitals that can be found on the island of Borneo. Only one is an official country capital, however, being Bandar Seri Begawan, the capital of Brunei. The Indonesian part of the island has 5 different provinces: North, East, South, West, and Central Kalimantan, each with its own capital. Then, the Malaysian part of the island is split up into 3 provinces: Sabah, Sarawak, and Labuan, each with their own capital. The most populated city on the island is Samarinda, located in the Indonesian part, with a population of about 728,000. Next is Banjarmasin, also in Indonesia, which has a population of around 625,000. Kuching, which is in the Malaysian part, then comes in 3rd place. It has a slightly smaller population than Banjarmasin, at 618,000. In 10th place, we have Bandar Seri Begawan, which, as mentioned earlier, is the capital of Brunei. An estimated 70% of the island is covered in forest, which sounds like a lot, and of course it is. But this is unfortunately continuously decreasing. In the year 2000, this figure was closer to 80%. The main culprit is palm oil trees, to which many thousands of acres of forest are wiped out yearly to be replaced with this specific tree. The deforesting of the land wipes out many important habitats, and is replaced with this notorious tree, which is pretty terrible for animal ecosystems. Borneo's lowland rainforest covers an area of some 427,000 square kilometers, and is the 2nd oldest rainforest on Earth at some 140 million years old. Only Australia's Daintree rainforest is thought to be older. The highest point found on the island is Mount Kinabalu, which stands some 4,095 meters tall. As this peak is found in the Malaysian part of the island, it is also the highest mountain for all of Malaysia. Borneo is perhaps most well known for its orangutans, of which there is an estimated 104,000 left in the wild. They are unfortunately classed as critically endangered. In the last 60 years, their numbers have dropped some 50%, alongside over 55% of their habitat since the year 2000 alone. Another interesting and extremely rare animal that lives on the island of Borneo is the Bornean rhinoceros, which was once believed to be extinct. Today there are thought to be just 15 individuals remaining. Now, does Borneo have a flag? It's a great question with an interesting answer. The island as a whole does not have a flag, unfortunately, as it's owned by 3 different countries who each have their own flag. Again, as you'd expect from an island with 3 different countries on it, there are 3 different currencies: the Indonesian rupiah, the Malaysian ringgit, and the Brunei dollar in each of their respective countries. Now, Luckily for me, if I ever drove on the island of Borneo, I wouldn't have to drive on what I describe as the wrong side of the road, as the entire island drives on the left, which is the same format as mainland Indonesia and Malaysia, and of course Brunei, which is solely found on the island. Now, as you'd expect from an island that sits bang on the equator, it has what is known as an intense tropical climate. In the lowlands, temperatures range from 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, while at higher elevations, things can get a little cooler. Borneo has two distinct monsoon seasons: the dry monsoon from May until October, and the wet monsoon from November until April. On the Köppen climate classification chart, the island is pretty much fully dark blue, similar to that of the surrounding islands and land masses in the area. Islam is the dominant religion on the island, with 80% following the religion in Brunei, 52% in the Malaysian part, and 78% in the Indonesian part. The GDP of the island is not officially tracked in any sort of index. However, we are able to analyze the island's economy size by totting up the individual provinces' GDPs. The country of Brunei's GDP is tracked, which is some $4 billion USD. The 5 provinces of the Indonesian part add up to some $118 billion. And then the 3 Malaysian provinces add up to some $74 billion. This gives the island a rough GDP of around $196 billion USD, which honestly is much higher than what I was expecting. If Borneo were its own country, it would rank as having the 57th largest economy on the planet, ever so slightly larger than, say, Ethiopia, whose population is some 5 times greater. And to finish off, let's end with a very interesting fact about the island. Borneo is home to the Rafflesia arnoldi plant, otherwise known as the corpse plant due to the smell that it emits. The plant isn't just known for its bad smell, but also for the fact that it is the largest plant on Earth. It can weigh up to 11 kilograms and stretch some 3.3 feet in diameter. So that is the island of Borneo in a nutshell. Have any of you been lucky enough to visit this incredible island? If so, please do let us know in the comments what it was like. Like and subscribe for more geography content, and as always, thank you very much for watching.